Thank you. So my name is Nancy, and I come from Toronto. Woo-hoo. Okay. So, so how many of you remember the founder's name? Wales. Oh, I heard you first. You get a reward. Hold on. Let's see. A maple leaf pencil. All right. And who is the singer of Single Ladies? Heard that? All right. And our CEO's name. I heard Tom over here. Oh no, she's from there. You know, she is from Toronto. So, okay. All right, so let's see. Uh, how do you spell Nancy? There you go. Right. And who might be referred to as Apple here? Uh huh. There you go. Now, all those questions might be relevant. Um, are they appropriate for now? Or they might be appropriate. Are they relevant for now? Yeah, single ladies, who's Apple? Maybe, maybe not. And so today I'm going to be talking about rewards, specifically with regard to the when and the why, and to some extent, the how. So first of all, who am I? So I've been teaching with Wales now for about 8 months, not a very long time. I love it. I'm having fun. And I chose this particular topic. Let's see if I can get this to move. No. Oh yeah, I do love teaching English, but let's see. Oh, let's go here. Because I teach students who are a little bit on the older side. 13, 14, 15, 11, 12. And I found that it's very, very difficult to say, oh, good job, psh, that's a star for you. And they're motivated or reinforced to do something really well. Or I have actually watched lots and lots of videos on YouTube about rewarding students. And I've seen a lot of stickers. Here is a sticker. It's nothing tangible. And students aren't stupid. While it's a good feeling to know that they want something, they know that it's not tangible, they're not taking it away. And I think for young students, they're excited to have those things, the sticker. Some of them, maybe not so much. They want it. They realize it's not coming through the screen to them. Older students, that's a totally different thing. And so I have been hard-pressed in finding ways to motivate students. So I want to talk more so about how do we motivate students? Why do we reward students? And so the first is incentivize performance. How else do we do that? Or why else do we do that? Anyone? I've got rewards. Okay. To keep their attention, yes. There you go. And yes? Exactly, Tiana, here you go, maple leaf. Oh boy, my pencils are to keep them interested in the subject and in the lesson. That's a perfect answer. All right. Because teaching quality makes us, yes. To praise them so that they know that they're doing well. It's really to reaffirm them somehow. Okay, and here you go. Thank you. And then one more. Yes? Yes?
Because maybe they had a hard day and they just need a win.
Yes. Because, good. That's a good one. Really. So she said that maybe they had a hard day and perhaps they just need a win because our students are coming very lackluster to the class, some of them. Some of them, they've got energy for all of us. But many of them are coming tired and beat down, and they just not need a win. We don't think about that oftentimes. All right, so thank you guys for that. So there are four kinds of reward systems, really. One is preferred activities. And an example of reward activity would be first dibs. So for example, a student does a performance or exhibits a behavior that is desired. What we do is say, okay, you get to go first the next time around. All right? First dibs. So that's an example of preferred activity. Or social recognition, where at the end of the class, we may put up a nice poster, and we recognize that student's hard work during the lesson. That's an example of social recognition. I think also the feedback, every 5 weeks, the feedback system, that for me is an example of social recognition. We don't always think of it as reward, but students look forward to that. I think their parents more so. And then there are tangibles. Tangibles is problematic in an online learning environment where the delivery is online. Because you're not giving something, I give you something very tangible. You can feel it, you can touch it, you can smell it. All right, you have it in your possession, you can put it in your backpack. And students don't get this. And so this here, sometimes teachers make virtual stickers. I liked using a reward system that is actually set up. It's free to use. It's called Class Dojo. I think Wales is also supposed to be rolling out a reward system. But a reward system I like to use is called Class Dojo, ClassDojo. And it allows you to set up criteria for performance. And so here's how it works. I'm not really going to talk about it in depth, but because it allows you to set up criteria for the behavior, the desired behavior, you can tweak it to the class, the level of the class, the subject that you're teaching. And at the very end of the class, you can pull it up on your screen and you can say, this is what you guys have been doing, and here's what you did very well, and perhaps here's an area that you may need to work on. And then, of course, there are tokens, points, where a student may accumulate a certain number of points over the course of maybe a month, a week, a day. It really depends on how you'd like to organize that. All right, so let's move on to the common mistakes that I make a lot. I'm not going to include you all in this to say we all make. One very common mistake that we make is we reward only the top performance. So there's that student who is smart as a whip, and he always has the right answers. And we reward him, not necessarily by giving him a number or a point on a point system, but perhaps by saying, awesome, great, perhaps a number of times in the lesson, and we just focus on that student to the detriment of another student who's sitting there in the classroom wondering, like, where's my awesome? Where's my great? Another common mistake is not too much variability, where there isn't any kind of variability in the kinds of reward system that we set up. So I like to think that a really effective reward system is a reward system that is twofold. So at the beginning of the class, let's say in the first, second, third weeks of the course, I set up a reward system that really checks students' behavior. I look for the desired behavior, because that's the first thing I want to get, the behavior, the social behavior, how they interact. And I think that by the third week, I would have gotten students to behave the way that would enable for a conducive learning atmosphere. And then I might put aside that reward system because they've learned that already. They know what the desirable behaviors are. And then I bring out those skill behaviors, skill sets, a reward system that reward students for actually producing the kinds of skills that a course requires or that a class requires. Another common mistake in reward system is the one that I'm going to talk about a little bit to some degree, over-justification. Over-justification is another word that a psychologist might use for this would be overcrowding. And an example would be, let's say, there's a school, and there's an old man. I don't know why I use old. And there's an old man who he neighbors the school. All right, there's a fence right there. And there are kids, and they play in the schoolyard, and they're right up against his fence. And it's very noisy. And he's retired, and he just wants to live in peace. And so he goes out, and he says, you know what, kids? I'm going to pay you $20 to make as much noise as you possibly can. All right? And he pays them $20. They're playing soccer. They really love soccer. They like playing it. He pays them $20, and they say, "Yay! Whoa! We're being paid to do something that we love." And the next day, they're back there, and they're playing soccer again, and they're all raucous and rambunctious. And he comes out, and he pays them again. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. After a while, what do you think will happen? She said he will run out of money. I never thought about that. But what else will happen? That's a good one. Yes? They want more what? $20 become common. Yeah, they might want more money, but what about their love for the game? They lose that interest. They lose that interest in the game because they're now being rewarded for something that they already love doing. And so it's called overjustification, where you're rewarding students for something that they already love doing. Like I asked you how my name is spelled, and why am I rewarding you for that? It's right here. That's a problem. It's right here. So that's a form of overjustification. And so, especially with older children, older students, we've got to be very wary of that over-justifying a reward system. So the reward system has to be designed in such a way where students are being rewarded for a behavior that was set out before, a desired behavior. The other thing with reward system is delaying recognition or rewarding. So when a student produces a desired skill or behavior, you want to right away say, all right, good job, right on. You want to do that. Don't wait for the end of the class to say, well, Tom, in the 5th minute of the course, or of the class, you said this, and that was really good. And Tom is going to go, what did I say? I can't remember that. So you want to do it right away, all right? Instant gratification. Let's move along, and so let's talk a little bit about older kids. So I think there are so many reward systems that are out there for younger kids, and it's very difficult to reward older kids because, as I said before, they recognize when it seemed to kind of infantile. And so we want to try not to keep a public record of students' efforts. So you don't just, if you have it as an online system, splay it across the screen for all the students to see at the same time. All right, so the students who haven't been doing very well, what it does is quite the opposite of what a reward system is expected to do. And I talked before about the feedback tool. I find that it's really, really good because you can speak to students directly. I find in my feedback tool, I tend to talk to both students and teachers at the same time. And parents at the same time. I mean, I may not say parents, well, your child is doing this, but I'd refer to the student by name and say, well, Tom has been answering questions in complete sentences. That's a real desired skill, and he should continue to do that. And I think that's talking to both the student and the teachers, the parents at the same time. Surprise rewards. Okay, I think my time is done. All right. Oh, but just before I go, one other thing, music. Music is a very good form of a reward system. You can ask students to say, I'm going to play your favorite song next class. And students actually come with a song, and you play it for about a minute or so, and it really works very well. All right, my time is up.